then following that thought process about, having this MVP, I started to raise the questions of, well, we're so limited with the software and the infrastructure. I need to find somebody that I can actually, work with to help me take my ideas and turn them into a system, because the previous teams I had, I didn't want to work with anymore. You kind of move on. And I was having a conversation with Lisa Gehring, and she said to me, well, why don't you chat to Lisa Walker? And now Lisa Walker was product manager. She has run operations, extensive experience in, people, teams, design, graphics, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of had a call with her and I said, look, I'm thinking of doing these things. Will you help me to, build them? And she came on board and, kind of part-time first and then became full-time a bit later. But she helped me to actually build and integrate the tools that we were doing through these different systems. And these are all the manual ones that we did before. And this was a very expensive process for us, because we needed design, we needed graphics, we needed PDF documents, we needed all the research we had to do and build the different reports and the different content bases. You don't have access to proprietary information from textbooks and things. You've got to do your own research and then fill it out and get the data. And I went with the eight, the main kind of model was the 8 profile or 4 profile model, because I was familiar with what that meant and didn't have to expand my thinking into other areas. We didn't have the AI that we do now to be able to build those different research centers and populate that data. So it was a really, really challenging time, but we got through it. And the one thing I really loved about Lisa was, I say I loved, I mean, she's still with me, and we still work very closely together, was that every time she was building, she was improving the process. And that's been a bit of a message the whole way through our journey, which has been that, every time we do something, every new client we work with, we improve and we get better and faster and cheaper and, more effective and more integrated and more flexible and more dynamic. All that stuff happens every single time we work with a new customer. So this led us to deciding, at a point where we got a lot of pressure from our clients to have an integratable system that they could log into, and they could send links and look at reports and all that kind of stuff, like a normal system, if I can put it that way. And we got to a point where we launched that first version of the platform in January this year, with Lisa, developing it and, finding ways to use AI to code and build. I mean, it was literally like, we didn't have the money for developers. We didn't have, we didn't have the infrastructure to be able to have these big teams anymore like that. Those ships were sailed and gone into the wind. So when we built the first platform, it was really, really, a point where it did everything we needed to do. It's very practical. It's very logical, and it works well, but it's simple. And we continue to develop and move forward in the space. And in the next video, I'll talk a little bit about Mind Canvas and what the platform is. But it's quite interesting because it leads us to this point where we have this infrastructure that now our clients can log in and they can use. And we've taken into account all the learnings and things from all of those customers we worked with, plus the 15 years experience in profiling, with all the limitations that we had with the different companies we worked with. And have created an infrastructure and platform where we really have broken down all those barriers, completely. And it's got us to a really, really powerful point that we have a product that is more advanced than all of our competitors in the market. And I can say that because I've used all those platforms and they have not been developed in 15 years. And if you disagree with me, okay, but I've seen them and they literally don't invest in infrastructure. They just build what they have to build, and that's the end of the story. They spend all the rest of their money on marketing. But delivery and experience is really important to me and important to Lisa and the rest of the team. So now we have our platform, and this next video, I'll talk a little bit about what Mind Canvas is and what the platform does, which is a little bit different.